Hello students, myself Dr. C.R. Chougule, Head Department of English, Gopal Krishna Gokhale College, Kolhapur. This lecture is for the students of BA 3 Special English. Name of the paper number 13 is English Poetry for the Semester 6. Let us know the Module 7 selections from Modern English Poetry. Poem first, No Second Troy, written by W.B. Yeats. William Butler Yeats, who was one of the greatest poets of the 20th century. The poem is written in 1912 and it is considered one of the greatest poems of the 20th century. This literary piece is mainly about the author's love with a woman of unusual beauty, but also about the author's homeland struggling for the freedom. The 12 lines poem No Second Troy is addressed to Maud Gonye, who married John McBride in 1903. It was shattered by Maud's sudden marriage. Maud Gonye was an Irish revolutionary whom Yeats loved but who rejected his proposal of marriage. The poem was written after the final rejection of W.B. Yeats' love of her and sudden marriage to John McBride, who ironically was later made the martyr of Irish freedom movement by efforts of W.B. Yeats himself. Although this marriage of Maud and McBride resulted in a separation 2 years later, it left Yeats in a great distress. The opening lines in No Second Troy, published in 1921 in the collection titled The Green Helmet and Other Poems. W.B. Yeats' this 12 lines poem is the most celebrated poem, having a combination of personal and political concern. The poem begins on a personal plane with a rhetorical question saying that W.B. Yeats should not blame her for filling his life with misery. From here, it goes to refer to and comment on the political concerns of Maud Gonye, an Irish revolutionary loved by W.B. Yeats. The poet is scornful of the petty violence of those who would hurl the little streets upon the great. However, the poet fails to understand her political attitude and revolutionary violence that the lady preached to her countrymen for winning the freedom of her country against the British tyranny. This first section does not contain a great deal of imagery and instead focuses on fully explaining the initial question. However, the descriptions in the latter part of the poem are far more vivid and draw on metaphors in order to create powerful imagery. In the concluding lines of No Second Troy, the beautiful revolutionary lady Maud Gonye is seen in terms of destruction. Her beauty is said to be like a tightened bow. Her mind is made simple as a fire of nobleness. Simplicity is not a quality that we associate with fire. Here, W.B. it seems to suggest how uncompromising intensity and dedicated single-mindedness are capable of being both noble and in terms of a practical world. The tightened bow further suggests an inherent tension in heroic beauty that necessity results in destructiveness. But heroic beauty cannot avoid its terrible consequence. It must not be blamed because it cannot help itself. It is not until the last line that imagines lock securely in their pattern. The organizing thrust is clearly withheld. The marching suspense of the single syllable words in the last but one line with why, what, and what repeating the accumulated questions is a brilliant piece of the dramatic moment. Then the Helen image strikes into the poem. It raises the question which the whole structure of the poem has answered. It puts everything in its predestined order. It is the demonstration of a technique that he brings to its perfection. The purpose of civilization is not to provide bonfires for eternal or heroic beauty. Ireland has not failed because it has not been burnt like Troy. The complete pattern of images as well as the rhetorical control in the poem are clearly demonstrated only when we read the last line. The poet clearly demonstrates the destructive aspect of beauty not only in personal terms but also in national as well as mythological terms. The poem appeals that no beauty like Helen of Troy or today's Maud Gonne will cause the destruction of another beauty like Troy. There will remain only peace and love in the world. Thanks for listening me carefully and attentively. Thank you.